Hello, and welcome to the First Stitch podcast, where we tell the stories of how everyday quilters just like you got started quilting, plus talk about some other fun quilty things along the way. This is your host, Lisa Donnelly from Wild Plum Lane. Let's get started. In this episode, we'll meet Dot, who wrote, "I actually don't consider myself a quilter at all. My mama started me sewing when I was about 7 years old, and I've never stopped. I'm now in my mid-70s and still enjoy sewing. I made all my clothes when I worked and spent many years making wedding gowns and bridesmaid dresses, baby items, draperies, and many different crafts. I love, love, love machine embroidery. Even though I grew up with a mama and grandmama who quilted, I never made one myself. A few months ago, I started sewing baby quilts, blankets, bibs, and burps for my future great-grands, and love combining my machine embroidery with sewing projects. I'm having a good time planning these small quilts, and working on them has reinforced my long-standing statement that I will never make a bed-sized one. A day spent in my sewing room is a great day. Being creative is a great satisfaction." And that is from Dot. Dot, I could not agree more with your statement that being creative is a great satisfaction. I think you've summed up why we're all here. And I do think that if you've ever made a quilt, you can certainly consider yourself a quilter. Next, I want to share today's work in progress finishing tip, which is to get organized. But before you pull everything out and spend days making your space look photo-worthy, hear me out. Organization can look wildly different for different people. But no matter how you go about it, feeling even just a little bit organized can jumpstart project progress. It doesn't have to take long. You can set a timer and spend 5 minutes cleaning up your workspace. Or if you'd like to feel more organized in your mind, download the simple work in progress inventory from my free resources and write down the very next step for your highest priority works in progress. I'll drop the link for that download in the show notes. Doing that will help you know where to get started when you have a few minutes and keep you moving forward. So, from organizing your quilting space to knowing exactly what step you're on for your works in progress, let's just start somewhere and organize something. And then start quilting, of course. On that note, I want to share one of my favorite storage containers for works in progress. At Target, you can find clear 12-inch by 12-inch by 2-inch high stackable storage containers that are made by a company called Brightroom. They're the perfect place to store cut fabric, bits and pieces of block units that you've started assembling, or even supplies for paper piecing. It keeps your space clear to work while still having everything you need in one place, and easy to see when you're ready to work on that project. I'll drop a link for you to find them down in the show notes. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode of the First Stitch podcast. If you enjoyed listening, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button in your favorite podcast player, write a review on Apple Podcasts, or tell your best quilty friends so they can listen too. By the way, do you have a story to share? Every quilter has a beginning to their story, and we'd love to hear yours. Plus, over the years, you might have picked up tips or tricks you could share with others. It might inspire another quilter, so we want to hear about it. Share your personal quilting journey, your best project finishing tip, or your first stitch moment. Your story might be read on an upcoming episode of The First Stitch. You can submit your story today by sending an email to firststitchpodcast, all one word, that's firststitchpodcast@wildplumlane.com, or use our quick submission form down in the show notes. I can't wait to talk with you again soon.